NotTwo. There's already no you.
So welcome to this already NotTwo online Zoom meeting for July. Lovely to see you all, apparently. And for those who are new to already NotTwo points to the obviousness of what is and isn't. It is there and it's not there, so to speak. So it's an appearance. All there is the whole appearance, if you would like. Though the suggestion that is being made here today is that what's appearing does not appear to you, neither does it appear for you or by you. No, it's worse in that sense. There is just simply already no you. So pointing that out, that's the loving compassion of this message, I would say. It's that loving compassion that may untangle all those firm and tight beliefs, or maybe even dissipate that contracted energy. Because what seems to happen within that dreamt reality, there seems to be an apparent contraction. It's boundless energy, but it's so boundless and free that it apparently can appear as contracted as well. Though as it appeared, it can just disappear as well, so to speak. So what's appearing is already totality. This is totality. There's nothing fancy about what is and what isn't. No, this is what is and isn't. So it's just ordinary. Stunning though, though stunning ordinary. It's sitting on a seat, hearing, listening, breathing, maybe talking. That's what's appearing. And as for today, it also appears as my co-host Alexis.
Is this another sort of intro happening now?
You call it like that, yeah. That would be the introduction to already NotTwo, so to speak.
Yeah. So perhaps I'll just say a few things as well. So everything that's just been shared is, it's simply energy, and it's suggested that it's nothing. That energy is nothing. Not some black empty void of a vast space with no qualities. No, this is nothing. This, what's appearing, is nothing appearing. It's nothing because it's undefinable. It can't be comprehended. It can't be described, really. It can't be defined. It can't be held onto. It can't be grasped. It's nothing, and yet it's all there is. It's everything there is. And what can appear, this nothing being everything, being boundless and free, can appear, as was said, as a separation experience. So it can seem like there's someone having an experience, that someone is knowing about what this is, that someone is separate from nothing or separate from everything. And it's suggested that that is a dream. It's a dream of nothing appearing as splitness, if you like, or separation, contracted energy. So boundless energy simply appearing as contracted energy. And because all of this just seems to be appearing, there's no substance. It's empty and full. And what's being shared, I suppose, between Nico and Alexis is that that's just meaninglessly appearing as whatever it is. It's not really coming from anywhere or going anywhere. It's not limited by time, space, consciousness, or experience. It's not limited at all. It's boundless and free. It's unconditional. And because it's boundless, free, unconditional, radiant, live, total, timeless freedom, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to change. Even the experience of separation, just being an illusory appearance, doesn't need to change or go away. It doesn't need to stick around or become even more solidified and stable and real. It's already not really happening. So there's no desire to change that. There's no attempt to figure anything out or to cure anything, because nothing is recognized as broken. There's no acknowledgement that anything needs to change, because what is unconditionally free already. And this is seemingly why this kind of exposure is utterly meaningless, pointless, hopeless, and useless. It doesn't serve anyone because there's no recognition that there is anyone. There just is what is and is not. And somehow or other, some sort of exposure and illumination, or just simply exposure, can allow for some sort of resonating or basking or bathing. Not that that's required or expected. It doesn't matter whatever happens. As it's been said, it's without agenda. And some sort of dialogue can seem to happen. Periods of silence, questions, answers, laughter. It's all just what is.
Yeah, totally, I would say. So when there are questions appearing, it's the first time it's a shared meeting. So maybe one could start with pronouncing the first name, so Alexis or I, to make it less confusing for the one who needs to respond, so to speak. Or you can just write it in the chat and then it will be read by Agnes. So thanks for the introduction, by the way. Maybe I can use the opportunity as well, just to say briefly that besides this already not so online version, so to speak, for the month July, there will also be a live meeting within 2 weeks, I guess. Is it? Within 2 weeks, like this. So that's more easy. So within Berlin, it's the live meeting that's coming up. And more info and registration can be found for all details and registration. It can be found on the website. It's yoganini.com, I guess. Is that correct? Is it?
Yogini Dakini. It's
Yogini. Yeah,
fancy Sanskrit name. I can write it in the chat if you like.
Yeah, it's on screen. It's on screen as well for the moment. So
yeah, that's impressive. That is. Look at that.
So, but that's how I can see to pronounce it correctly. So it's yoginidakini.com, right? Or on the Already Not To website. It's on there as well. So it would be lovely for those who want to join in a live setting in Berlin within a few weeks. I also like the part that nothing needs to happen. There's nothing right nor wrong with the sense of being an individual. It's just an appearance. It just appears like that.
Yeah.
I think there are not so many people who really think that there is no me. When you ask someone on the street, everyone would say, there's me here. Or it's really, this illusion is so hard. It seems so real that there is a me, and all this effort you do your whole life to get your life together. It's really a bit crazy to hear that it's not real.
Yeah, it's unbelievable and it's unacceptable. I mean, what's being shared is utterly blasphemous. This is ridiculous. Like, there's no one. It doesn't seem to make any sense. This isn't coming from a place of sense, yeah, or logic. It's not coming from a place at all. It's simply an elaboration of nothing that is all there is, yeah. And it's not hard. It's impossible. There's no one already, therefore there's no doership or ownership either. There just is timeless freedom. And timeless freedom, being without agenda, can appear as a sense that there's an agenda, or that there is a sense of autonomy. And this is exposed as dream stuff.
And if there's no one, you cannot even blame someone for playing this whole game. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's the end of that, in that sense. So-called liberation. It's very obvious for no one that there is no one to blame as well. Oh, sorry.
Hello, I don't know who I'm talking to. Yes, it feels very strange. I can see the feed, and I can see just feed. There's obviously no individual in the feed, but at the same time, it seems that the thinking or the talking comes from a center. You know, it's yeah, no getting away from how it feels just now. Either I tend to fall asleep now at the Zoom meetings or live meetings, or there's so much stress. Yeah, it brings quite a bit of anxiety, I guess, you know. It's a mad message, really. It's to the one who believes that there's one, or whatever. I don't know how to explain this. Is it's almost like being at war with hearing the message and at the same time it really being put off by it and wanting to not hear it. And there's no chain to make me listen to this message. It is very odd to be attracted to something that in one way there's this idea that that's going to kill me. You know, I don't know if either of you want to comment on this.
Well, maybe we can both, I don't know, see what's apparently happening.
Yeah.
So it's it can appear as anything, obviously. What we're talking about is just already everything in that sense. So from the standpoint, so to speak, from the individual or for the individual, it can be very confronting. There's no ground to stand on in that sense, though without the intention of doing so, because this message has no intention whatsoever. So when it's received, so to speak, as very confronting, which is understandable, of course, but that's obviously then that's what's appearing to happen. Yeah.
Yes, because in a way the experienced reality, when hearing this message, the message seems to be like rocking the boat, you know, like an earthquake in a way, but it feels more on an energetical or vibrational level, you know. The body feels like it's shaking, and just in response. Yes.
Yeah, totally. I would say it's completely energetic. So it's not about the wording that are used or whatsoever. Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely, because you can't make sense. It's impossible to make sense at all. So it is felt as you know, physical shaking or whatever. It's yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to share that and say hi.
Thanks for sharing, and hi to you as well.
I'm from Belgium as well, by the way.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. Where in Belgium are you from?
In Antwerp. I am not originally from Antwerp, but yeah.
Oh no, okay, yeah.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Alexis, you want to add something?
Well, it could just be said that what's being shared is not talking to anyone, and it's not talking from anyone either. It's positionless uttering without any cause, effect, or reason whatsoever. It's just simply uttering. It's not recognizing that there's an individual that would actually hear this, because what seems to happen when there's no openness is that it all just seemingly gets misinterpreted and ridiculed, which is quite understandable, and yet there's no acknowledgement that anyone is actually on the receiving or the giving end of what's being apparently shared. And so that can seem to be totally nonsensical, and yet somehow it makes complete sense. Beyond sense. It's like, this is so obvious, as was said, you know, it's not known, and yet it's totally obvious that there is no one, there's no space-time meaning, no purpose, no autonomy, no control, no direction, just this, just what is appearing immediately, without intention or cause or agenda or meaning, whatever. And somehow, yes, there can be an in-loveness, an impersonal in-loveness, which is not claimed. It's an apparent absence of claiming anything. Positionless.
Danke. Next time when you blow some hearts, I give you some sound by it.
Great. Yeah.
People are right when they are saying this message doesn't make any sense. So there's no need to make any sense as well. There's no hidden agenda whatsoever. So there's no agenda to change whatsoever. Hey Klaus, welcome for joining. Oh, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Dalia from Belgium too, by the way.
Lovely.
Hi. This afternoon I was with a friend and she asked me some questions about non-duality and radical non-duality, and I was just trying to say something, and I felt I'm just I sound stupid, it just doesn't make any sense. And she was looking at me, and she's very into spirituality and law of one, and of course miracles. And I was there too, so I could understand that it just doesn't resonate, and it's just senseless, pointless, and doesn't make any sense. But I just wanted to address the sense of resistance.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that I would be resisting to something else and someone else or whatever, and now it feels like this. There's this resistance to this message, but there's still a resistance. It doesn't mean there is resistance to this, to anything, but the sense of resistance, as the lady before said, is just shaking in inside, and there's this sense of resisting here, not knowing to what. How can I resist to my own absence? It just doesn't make sense, of course. But there is still resistance in the body, and it just holds the whole thing back, trying to make sense out of this message, and it's just hold on to it and resisting to it at the same time. It's quite weird. What's going on?
Yeah,
and
thanks for
openness at the same time. So it's very contradictory. It seems very contradictory, by the way. Not sure it's.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it plays out as it plays out in that sense. What we're talking about is what's appearing to happen is everything. So in that sense, it can be just as it is. There's no other possibility. So it can appear as a resonance, or it can appear as resistance as well, or both.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's what is and isn't.
Thank you.
It's sometimes called a message because what's being shared is not a teaching. It's not applied. It's not a practice. It's not any instruction whatsoever. And so it's sometimes called a message or a communication, but it's not really even that. It's not anything. So there's nothing to hold on to. And because there's nothing to be holding on to, not even the words and terms that are apparently happening, there's no grasping what is already. And that can seem to, yeah, there can be seeming resonance around that. And there can also be tremendous irritation. Like, why can't I get this? I want it. I want this to be something that I can have, because I, the subject, so desperately need and long for an object that I can relate to. And there's no playing this game. There's no object or subject already.
Words are also very limited, or we're very limited on words to explain what's unexplainable, really.
Hmm.
Thank you, Alexis. Yes, it's interpreted here as something's got to change or something's got to give, you know, and still an expectation of a happening of some sort. Or it's just going after my own tail. Yes. Yeah, and not literally talking to myself. It's very strange if it's so, it feels so real to be someone, and it's heard that it does feel like it's reinforced me in a way. As if there was no awareness of the me before, and now there is a it's all blah blah blah, but it's an uncomfortable blah blah blah. It really is. Yeah, this belief I am is seen as something that's in the way of what's longed for. It's just, although I'm saying that, and I half don't believe what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, what's being shared can seem utterly paradoxical, because what's being shared is the suggestion that the experience of separation feels so very real, and yet it's completely unreal. It's upside down. That's the thing that has no substance or reality to it whatsoever. So it's the dream of realness, of solidity, substance, and it isn't any of those things, because it's nothing at all. And there is only what's longed for, you know. What's longed for is beyond conditionality, therefore it's all there is. Therefore, if there's an experience of separation happening, that too is what's longed for, because there is only what's longed for.
Though, and I would like to add, maybe it's not just only a belief, and I emphasize on that because there is a lot of teachings out there, apparently, that it's just a belief or whatsoever. So what is being shared here, apparently today, has nothing, and I repeat, has nothing to do with any belief whatsoever. Nothing is required, nothing is asked as well. Even if there would be a belief that this is it or whatsoever, that's not when it comes to liberation, so to speak. It has nothing or not any relevance to that. So, yeah.
There's a question for Nico. Nico, can you say something more about words, the impossibilities to point towards something and other ways of communicating? If it is not a belief or a science, what is communicated in this hour? Love.
Oh, can you repeat it again, please? So maybe split it up because it seems such a long question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you say something more about words? The impossibilities to point towards something and other ways of communicating.
Well, as far as the question so far, when it comes down to words are completely empty. Though, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as already NotTwo concerns, we're very limited with words, or words are very limited, so to speak. And what is being pointed at is utterly unknowable. So unknowable isn't a thing. It's no thing, so to speak. But the dilemma for the seeker is that when it comes to nothing or no thing, automatically it's being turned into something. So what is shared here today, that this is it, or what is and isn't, this is what is and isn't a thing. No, this is what is and isn't. So every attempt to describe what's indescribable is, yeah, it's a failure in that sense, because just it cannot be talked about in that sense.
And then the second part of the question, if it is not a belief or a science, what is communicated in this hour?
It's a pointing to all there is. All there is, it's what is and isn't. It's this aliveness, because it's a, so to speak, a response to seeking energy. And for that seeking energy, something needs to happen. Or for that seeking energy, something needs to change. And seeking is already the whole appearing, pretending not to be whole, seeking to be whole again. So it's a joke in that way. Though with an audience that doesn't seem to laugh about it. So when there is the report that one feels like an individual, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing right with that either. It's just appearing as that. As it is and isn't.
No laugh, no clown, laugh. Chris writes.
Again?
No laugh in the sense of laughter.
Yeah.
No clown, laugh.
Well, it can appear as anything. So it can appear as a clown, and it can appear as laughter. What is shared here today, or what's apparently happening, is everything. Nothing is excluded. It's totality. Whatever that appears is totality. There's nothing else. It's the perfect companion. It never leaves you. just some technical info in between. If the Zoom would pop out suddenly, like it was in the last meeting, you can just rejoin again if that would happen. Just in case.
Nico?
Hey.
Hey. Is it like when a bubble pops, there's a bubble, there's inside of everything, and then it pops, and then what's left is nothing and everything. Yeah, like a bubble, like the me bubble,
Well,
the
when
body.
that dreamt reality is no more, so to speak, then what remains is nothing, which is everything. Yeah.
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 Yesterday you told me everything, I think.
Oh, good.
Nothing.
So you're prepared, yeah.
No, I'm done with questions.
Oh, okay.
I guess, no.
In very simple terms, sometimes there is talking about so-called liberation. And in very simple terms, one could say is that liberation is just the seeing by no one, that there is no one already to be liberated.
Alexis. Could you talk about, because you said there's nothing to hold on to, and I was basking in that. Your term. Very nice. Could you just elaborate a little bit on the paradox of between there's nothing to hold on to and the wanting to hold on to something, the substantial?
Yeah, so there's in a dream, there's a sense that there's a real separation experience happening called me. And this seems to give birth to a going after something, seeking and resisting what is, seeking for something else. And as that goes on, it seems to, you know, go after substances and intoxicants, it goes after other people, and maybe it goes after teachings and practices, religious situations and spiritual endeavors and all the rest of it. And when it apparently comes to a meeting of so-called non-duality, it's not given anything at all. There's nothing given, no lollipops, as it were, no sort of advice, no teaching, no prescription, no acknowledgement that there's anything wrong that needs to be fixed, changed, cured, or saved, you know. And there's not even an acknowledgement that there is even anyone that is seeking, you know. So there's nothing to hold on to, and there's no one holding on either. So it's totally all-encompassing. There just is what is and isn't. It's free already. Yeah. And so seeking is a dream, a story, a fantasy told by no one.
Because this contracted energy seems very much like holding on energy in this body.
It can seem that way.
Yes, it does. It seems that way.
Yeah.
The story goes.
When the contraction seemingly in place, yes, there does seem to be some sort of gross or subtle dis-ease or agitation.
Yeah, there seems to be a stickiness to it, so to speak. Apparently. Apparently.
There's already no you. NotTwo.